Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to Australian Indian Radio's Daily Life Update from this second day of winter, meaning second day of June in, winter in Brisbane, Australia. In this part of the world, yes, it is beginning of winter. And don't you just love those cool morning starts? Well, they are very, very pleasant as we know right here in Brisbane. Our winter is very, very pleasant as compared to many other countries and many other parts of the world. Well, right now, as we know, the Roma Hospital has been announced. Yesterday, the Premier was there and let's join into that announcement.
New Roma Hospital. I absolutely believe that Queenslanders deserve good health services no matter where they live. My government made a commitment to build this new hospital and today we deliver. $116 million here invested at Roma to cater for the community out here around the southwest. But it's not just the building, it's the people. It's all of the people that work here and the community that it will serve. Already, this hospital cared for people who were injured in the bus crash. And I want to thank them for the consideration and care that they show to those people who were injured. And as was stated to me, this hospital made all the difference. So I thank everybody who was involved in dealing with the bus tragedy.
So that's one very, very good news there. And of course, Roma, that hospital was long due. And yesterday we had that big announcement from Springfield as well. And, you could see that Dr. Mahasina Thambi was quite pleased with that result and with that announcement. Well, and of course, we announced the state of origin. So how is the preparation for state of origin going? Let's take a quick look. As Premier, we're ready.
Of Queenslanders, and that's exactly what we're doing with expanding Queensland Country Bank Stadium. This is a significant investment. 1,872 seats will be travelling north to fill Queensland Country Bank Stadium, taking it to a maximum capacity of 27,327 seats. And the reason we're doing this is we want to ensure that every possible Queenslander gets every possible chance to see the best possible sporting event in North Queensland. This is going to be one of the biggest and best sporting events that's ever happened in the north of our state. And all across Queensland today, everyone I've spoken to is so happy about this decision to host Origin 1 in Townsville, or as it will forever be known, Originville. But south of the border, though, they don't seem to be as happy. The Blue Whinge has certainly put the whale into New South Wales. So to our friends in New South Wales, wherever you live, whether it be in Parramatta or Sydney or Newcastle or any other part of New South Wales that lost the opportunity to host Origin 1, just let me say this: not sorry at all. And it's not surprising that Brad Fittler and the Blues don't want to feel the heat of the cauldron of the north. Why would you? So to New South Wales, you had your chance and you lost, and I think you should get used to it. Now I'll hand over to Minister Hinchliffe and happy to take some questions.
Thank you, Cameron, and it is great to be seeing these extra seats head off to be part of the Queensland Country Bank Stadium experience, adding to the numbers of Queenslanders that can be part of this really special opportunity that the relocation of Origin 1 represents. I know that we're seeing massive response from people right across the board, including from New South Wales, wanting to get to this great event. We're seeing extra flights being put on, 3 out of Sydney by Virgin and 5 out of
So that is quite good news, and as we can see that all the preparations are happening, and as the Treasurer said, we are not sorry to New South Wales. They would be sorry. They are the losers, and they had the opportunity. They didn't take it on. Well, that's one part of winning the venue, and this is going to be quite historic. And the win at the State of Origin could be the icing on the cake. Well, I'm quite sure that all the preparations are happening in that way. Well, right now let's go to Victoria. And when we look at in the aged care section and the vaccination that was supposed to happen, federal government says it doesn't know how many aged care people have been vaccinated.
A Minister of the Crown accused of fumbling a critical vaccine rollout.
Richard Colbeck is the Minister for Aged Care.
With COVID-19 again finding its way into aged care homes,
we're comfortable about where we're at.
The question is whether that comfort is justified.
And here we are on the first day of winter, and it seems to me that aged care is not prepared for another wave.
Establishing exactly how many in the aged and disability sectors are vaccinated and exercise in the inexact.
That's right, isn't it? Oh, no, you've got a bigger number. Sorry, I just have to get rid of this. It's out of date.
Do you know how many staff have been vaccinated in aged care?
The answer, no. While about 9% of that workforce has been fully vaccinated on the job, an unknown number have received shots from their GPs or vaccine clinics. This information to now be collected by aged care providers alongside flu vaccinations.
You don't know.
So there we go. The numbers are not known. As I mentioned before, that federal government says just no. So, that is putting a lot of pressure on the ministers in the federal state. So they are under a lot of pressure from the public.
The Morrison government is feeling the heat over the failings in aged care.
It is a huge logistical exercise. We've completed the first round of doses, apart from just a few. We're comfortable about where we're at. Everybody would have liked to have done it faster. A number of the staff have taken up vaccine through all of those channels, which we're very pleased with.
This was the start of Richard Colbeck's morning, and it didn't improve.
Are you seriously comfortable with the pace of this rollout?
Yes, Senator, I stand by the words that I've put to the media. And Senator, the reason that I do that is, as I've explained publicly, this is a significant logistical exercise. We've visited over 2,500 aged care facilities across this country.
You're trying to shift the focus away from the fact that you have been unable to roll out this vaccination program for residents or staff in aged care.
You can get your Facebook moment, that's fine.
I'm not asking after 655 people died last year. No urgency and no accountability for what's going on.
Ministerial accountability, let alone responsibility, seems to have become a rather loose concept in recent times, though perhaps not quite as loose as today, when Aged Care Minister Richard Colbeck could not only not give either the media nor Senate estimates any comprehensive numbers on vaccinations of aged care residents and staff, but seemed to struggle with responsibility for his portfolio.
Are you responsible, yes or no?
Well, it's not a yes or no answer, Senator. And you know that, which is why you try and push it.
No, I don't know that. Well, up until 5 seconds ago, I thought you were responsible for aged care staff.
Well, Senator, characterise it as you may.
While Senator Colbeck sought to explain in Canberra, the Victorian government announced it would be stepping into the breach that is technically the federal government's responsibility.
Workers in private sector aged care facilities and the residential disability sector, which are all managed by the Commonwealth, will be given priority access to walk-in vaccination hubs.
The political equation on COVID...
And sad as it may be, the politics comes into the play, and on a situation, a handling of a situation like this, aged care and vaccination, it should be up and above and beyond party politics. That's what my take is on the event. As we know, this COVID is spreading in many different ways, prior to this outbreak, and there's many still unknowns in that pair. And here we are, fighting about whose responsibility it is.
Red sky in the morning, shepherd's warning. The Victorian flock hoping for better news. Just 3 new cases have been detected, but it's how some people are picking up this Indian variant that has authorities sweating.
Where we have seen transmission in these cases with very fleeting contact.
2 of today's cases are primary contacts already isolating. The other is a person not known to any case, but is suspected to have caught the virus in Port Melbourne near a known cluster.
This is stranger-to-stranger transmission.
54 cases are linked back to the Adelaide hotel quarantine breach. Half are part of the City of Whittlesea cluster in Melbourne's north. One man from that cluster spread it to 22 others in Port Melbourne, including one of today's cases who never entered the workplace but lived around the corner. And 4 people linked to aged care are positive out of almost 280 tests. Authorities are trying to work out how far and wide the outbreak has spread to determine if the lockdown can end on Thursday night. More than 4,800 people are primary contacts. Most have tested negative.
We've seen this outbreak continue to morph, as all outbreaks do. What we're now doing is really, we're keen to start to drain the swamp that says, well, what else is out there?
If you have visited any of these high-risk shopping areas across Melbourne, authorities want you to come forward for testing, even if you don't have symptoms. But it's the aged care workers who will now take priority. The state government will run a 5-day vaccination blitz. Aged care and disability workers will be able to walk into a vaccination hub and move to the top of the queue. It's a direct challenge to the Morrison government.
We have concerns that there isn't enough coverage, so that's very much why we're stepping in. This is very much a call to arms of those workers who are on the front line.
So where does this leave us? The big question everybody wants to know is, will lockdown end on Thursday night? The state says it simply doesn't know because it's still assessing all the case data. Officials will meet tonight and tomorrow to assess the state of play before hopefully making a final call.
It continues to be.
So it continues to be a bit of a challenge, and of course we will find out tomorrow after that meeting whether the lockdown is lifted or will it be extended. But right now it's time to look at some of the functions and events taking place right here in Brisbane. And ladies and gentlemen, that's about all we have time for today in this segment. Don't forget that we're back on at 10 a.m. with the special segment for today, the real estate update with Usha Chandra. So that is coming up right here at 10 a.m. We'll see you back for that segment. Until that time, it's goodbye from me. So don't forget, 10 a.m. we come back with the weekly real estate updates with Usha Chandra. So ladies and gentlemen, it's been wonderful having your company on this brief news segment, and we'll see you back at 10.